medtech refers to breakthrough technologies that can really change people's health and lives.
We are not chasing technology for technology's sake, but rather to solve real-world problems.
The biotech competition is a global one. We support our companies to compete not only regionally, but globally.
Meet some of the deep tech startup founders in Singapore who are inventing the future of healthcare.
In 2014, I rode from Singapore to Sweden to spread the word, raise funds, educate people, and create something called an Asian Breast Cancer Research Fund.
He once rode his bike from Singapore to Sweden to raise awareness for breast cancer. These days, Associate Professor Michael Hartman is on a journey to solve what is a growing worry of women around the world.
Breast cancer is a silent epidemic. In the last 35 years, we've seen a doubling by generations. So a mother's risk is twice that of her mother's, and the daughter's risk is twice that of her mother's.
Every day, he breaks the bad news to at least 3 women.
On the mammogram, we can see that looks like an early cancer.
This is something he hopes to change.
Because you came to us early, the likelihood of cure is very high.
Despite being the most effective way to detect cancer, the results of a mammogram or breast X-ray are difficult to analyze.
What we're asking the radiologist to read is white on white. Most mammography screening use 2 radiologists that are independent of each other. They either both say normal, both say cancer, or if they disagree, a 3rd radiologist comes in. So it's labor-intensive, it's time-consuming. We are now at a position where we can do 1 click.
In 2019, he launched FathomX with artificial intelligence expert assistant professor FxMammo to develop an AI model to analyze mammogram images. It's called FxMammo and provides radiologists with a heat map and cancer probability score.
So the heat map was developed to help the radiologist understand what area of the mammogram FxMammo is using to make its score. It's as accurate as a radiologist, so we measure this by something called an area under the curve. So an area under the curve of 1.0 is perfect. A radiologist works at about 0.9. Our tech is about 0.91 to 0.93, so it's at the level of an expert.
FxMammo can be a game changer, but it may never be commercialized because the creators have no experience running a startup.
I think we really need to engage a full-time CEO to help us.
We do, because the technology without funds is not going to work. It's just a good idea.
Innovation is so pertinent for Singapore because Singapore is just a little red dot. And how do we find relevance to the rest of the world? It's about how we can create positive impact. And in the healthcare sector, innovation can do many things. One, I think, in terms of improving patient outcomes. This could be about better treatment, but more importantly, it's about prevention and early diagnosis. 2, it's about accessibility, not just from a physical point of view, but from a cost point of view. Then finally, how do we use technology innovation to improve the resilience and capacity of our healthcare systems?
These 2 professors from FathomX found fundraising a big challenge. They had an AI model that could detect breast cancer in mammogram images with speed and precision. But they had 0 business experience and couldn't convince investors to part with their money.
What kind of market potential are we talking about?
Finally, a venture capitalist promised them seed funding, provided they hired someone with business acumen to run the startup. So in 2020, they hired Stephen Lim.
Now, these are the groups of people that will benefit from this solution because in the outskirts, in the communities, in the grassroots, this is where you don't get top radiologists.
With 30 years of business experience under his belt, Stephen can take FathomX to the next level.
The truth is, it's very challenging at every step of the way. Sometimes you do not know if you have enough funding to last for the month. 2021 was significant in that in our initial stage, we had NUS there to support us, funded us as well, and SMART program that was supporting new startups in Singapore that get us into the journey of commercialization. First step being our application for ISO 13485. So in August 2022, we got our first regulatory license from Health Science Authority in Singapore. Thereafter, in the last 2 years, we get licenses from different countries.
To date, FxMammo is on trial in more than 30 hospitals and universities across Asia. But Stephen is also eyeing opportunities further afield. In 2024, he and his team made trips to the United Kingdom and America to meet regulators, potential partners, and investors. These trips were supported by Enterprise Singapore.
I think the key role Enterprise Singapore plays is really to create connections and drive collaborations. We have a presence in 35 overseas cities and Global Innovation Alliance nodes in 21 cities. So these connections help us to bring the startups to be connected with market partners so that they could better understand the regulatory landscape, as well as how do they have a better product market fit. We will also bring all the stakeholders together as one global innovation community anchored in Singapore. Enterprise Singapore organized annually the Singapore Week of Innovation and Technology, where we see more than 15,000 attendees from all the different stakeholders, public sector, private sector, research partners, investors coming together to network and exchange ideas with each other. And we hope to have more partners go on this journey together with us.
We already have a prototype for tomosynthesis.
The team behind FxMammo is also making rapid advances.
Half of the world's population is female, will need mammograms, and we don't have enough radiologists. So the need for technology like this is huge.
From there, we are developing new products still within the breast cancer screening area. We will continue to anchor ourselves in Asia, deepen our roots. We intend to widen our integration to more than 30 hospitals to more than 100 next year. And we will also spread our wings into Europe as well as United States.
As the gateway to Asia, Singapore is a flourishing deep tech hub.
Over the decades, we have invested heavily in science and technology. Singapore has also been an attractive destination for multinational corporations to anchor in Singapore. And the fact that they have their corporate research labs in Singapore can further support the deep tech innovation ecosystem that we want to build here. We hope that we can attract even more startups to anchor themselves in Singapore, more talent, more venture capitalists, more venture builders whom can help support our ecosystem so that we can bring forth new growth opportunities and help to create positive impact to the rest of the world.